For 23 years, I was a white supremacist. I hurt people for no reason.
These tattoos on me are all about the white man being better than the black man. It's all about racism.
It's 2007 and the world is still filled with hate.
These right here I got for stabbing a black man in prison to get into the gang.
So why would I hug a man like this?
I think it's a disgrace.
As a Jewish woman, I was really hurt.
I can't believe you hugged him.
That's what's coming up right now on Montel. You know, it's 2007. With all the issues facing mankind, there's one issue that just keeps rearing its ugly head over and over again, and that's racism. Every single day in the papers and the news, we read about or hear about hate. I want you all to take a second. I want to introduce you to somebody. Would you take a good, hard look? Why don't you meet Steve? Steve, I want you to do me a favor. I got an audience filled with young people who don't understand. Why don't you tell them what those tattoos on your body mean?
These tattoos on me are all about hate. It's all about the white man being better than the black man. It's all about racism.
All about. You even have one on your arm that represents what? Your initiation into this group?
These tattoos right here I got for stabbing a black man in prison to get into the gang.
Spin around for a second, because you have swastikas on you, you have Hitler on you. What's the reason for the swastika?
It's a racial barrier. And the white supremacist gang, it's a black and white issue.
This is something that for well over how many years of your life did you believe?
Over 20 years.
Thanks for being here. Stand up here for a second. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up. You know, you didn't like that, did you? You didn't like it?
Not at all.
Not at all. But why is it that, and I'm going to pick you out, and it's not you, but I'm just going to use you representatively. Why is it that if you don't like that and like his message, why is it that so many of you will stand around in your own high school and watch other kids diss and use racial epithets, call people names, call people the most disgusting things to be said in this planet today, and not say a thing?
I think it's the fear that we can't stand up for one another and that we're not aware of what each other's culture is and what we're really about.
But why don't we stand up and say something about it? Everybody says that they hate people like to stand up for a second, though. What do you think about him? What do you think of Steve?
Well, as a Jewish woman seeing a huge swastika on his back, I was really hurt.
Just stand up for a second. Stand up. Everybody hates people like Steve. Don't like it. We'll say that publicly. But right now, the only reason why racism and hatred is perpetuated is because there's a new generation that's bringing it up. Why is it that so many of your peers hate somebody that's white, black, Hispanic, Asian, Jewish, whatever? Why?
It's not that the hatred, but it's, you don't know, a lot of us don't know what to say or how to react to it, and a lot of us are afraid if we say something that we'll get criticized for believing in something that you believe in.
Yeah, and believing in something that's right. I don't know. We're going to talk about this a lot more throughout the show, but first, you need to know that there are well over 800 hate groups operating in the United States right now today. Think it doesn't affect you? Think again. Take a look at this. Racism and hatred in America. It's at an all-time high. There are an estimated 800 hate groups in America today, and images and echoes of hatred are more accessible than ever. In the last year alone, celebrities have gone on racist tirades.
Oh my God.
TMZ.com obtained video of comedian Michael Richards spewing racial remarks that left the audience in shock.
That's not fucking called for. Oh, no, it ain't necessary. Well, you interrupted me, pal. That's what happens when you interrupt the right.
Isaiah Washington publicly made anti-gay remarks. Mel Gibson launched into a barrage of anti-Semitic statements. Clemson University students held a Martin Luther King party using stereotypes to mock blacks. In Houston, Texas, 2 white supremacists were convicted of savagely beating and sodomizing a Hispanic teen. Even more disturbing, teens have access to racist publications and racist music that promote nothing but hate. Where does the hatred and racism stem from? And how can this generation make changes to stop it? You look at those images, and I'm sitting here watching you watch that tape, shaking your head. Why? Tell them why I hugged you.
You hugged me because of the change I'm going through, that there's no more hatred in me.
And this isn't something that he decided yesterday. This is something that was a decision that this man made and has had to now pay a price in some ways for making. because, yeah, you got swastikas and stuff written all over his body because, so back up and tell him why you even started this whole tattoo process.
I was in prison, and the only way to belong in prison is to join.
To live in prison.
To live in prison is to join a group. The group that had the most control of the prison, the group that had the most notoriety, the group that seemed the most capable of getting things done in there was a white supremacist gang.
And for you, at the time, you got involved. You were involved in drugs, petty theft. Got sent away to prison because you're involved in a murder.
Yes.
You're there. You're thinking you'll be there for the rest of your life. So you're still doing drugs in prison.
Yes.
Drugs and all of that helped fuel a lot of this hate. The reason why I hugged him, because if for one other racist, one other hate-filled person could stop for a second and reflect on what's called forgiveness. Forgiveness. I forgive because I understand how hard it's going to be for him to forgive himself. But the difference he's going to make by forgiving himself is so many other people can do the same. This is proof. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk more to Steve and meet his fiance, who's a surprising choice for a person like yourself. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.
Right now I have a good job. I'm close with my family. I've got a beautiful woman that loves me for who I am.
I'm not only Jewish, I'm first generation. He is wonderful to me. I can't imagine him being hateful. I don't know that side of him.
And as we got the front door open, our car was in flames, and we just ran across the street. They had thrown 3 pipe bombs inside the car and blew it up.
And written on your driveway was what?
Tickets. For free audience tickets, call 212-989-8101 or visit our website at www.montelshow.com.
You know, about an hour before we started the show, I normally get together with my producers and we sit down and we have a meeting and we kind of talk through what we're going to do for the hour. And this morning, we almost for a second intended to bring a person on the show to give you an example of what the vehemence and hate is in America. I almost brought a guy out here who was going to sit here and spew trash like, you know, organizations that help to develop racial equality are doing nothing more than wholesale sellout of the white race. They need to make the white... And this guy was going to spew and spew and spew. And I thought to myself, why the devil should I give this fool another platform? There are 800 of these organizations recruiting your friends, your neighbors. There are people who live right down the street from you that you don't even know are involved in one of these organizations. And instead of showing that, I wanted to show you somebody like Steve. Because the truth of the matter is, you can live your whole life hating, right?
Yes.
I mean, the depth of your hatred at some time, that's all that drove you, was it not?
Oh, yeah, it was deep.
But just like the cloud of sobriety, when you lifted the veil of the drugs, what happened?
I started to see things from a different perspective.
Well, you know, Steve said he lived a life filled with hate from the early age. I want you to take a look at this.
For 23 years, I was a white supremacist. I hated all cans, Americans, Africans, Puerto Ricans. I have hatred tattoos everywhere. And it's an everyday reminder when I see them that there was a good part of my life where I hurt people for no reason. The white supremacist group was supposed to be about unity. And that's one thing that I bought into, was the unity of the whites. I hated everybody. I lost a lot of time. I lost half of my life believing in something that's just a lie. Right now I have a good job. I'm close with my family. I've got a beautiful woman that loves me for who I am.
I'm not only Jewish, I'm first generation. He's wonderful to me. I can't imagine him being hateful. I don't know that side of him.
At first, the tattoos were a major topic, her being Jewish and believing in her religion.
And I was very taken back by the tattoos. I thought right away that he was just like a skinhead.
I wanted to show her that that's not the type of person I was. And Leanne is very open-minded.
For me, telling my family was really hard. They still are having a difficult time. But I guess it's like reopening wounds.
Thankfully, she was able to look through the hatred and see the inside.
The ink is just what's left over on him. It's not what's inside him. That I know, or else I wouldn't be with him.
Please welcome Steve's fiancée, Leanne, to the show. Talk for a second, because I think, you know, I watched faces in this room when you said not only as a Jewish woman, but a first-generation Jewish woman. About 15 jaws dropped. What? But explain what it is and how you met. Explain this.
We met through a mutual friend who was also Jewish. And like I said, it's, you know, he broke through a lot of walls to become my friend.
You spent a lot of time talking, getting to know the man inside. And you had already been through this change, I should say. You'd already started down this path years before you met her.
Yes.
But did it not, even for yourself, cause, you know, like the brain cells in your brain to start a war when you were looking across the room and you're actually finding this woman attractive?
Well, my self-esteem, because of the tattoos, has always been bad. I've always had a low opinion of myself. And whenever I would see an attractive person or be attracted to somebody, the first thing would go through, do they ever have anything to do with me? How do I hide the tattoos?
And when you first saw those tattoos, you had to have been taken aback enough to say, right? How's your family reacted when they've seen these tattoos?
Well, at first I hid them. And he was going through the tattoo removal process long before he met me. And when he first met my parents, which was throughout this year, he had just gotten one of the removals, so they were wrapped.
And this also kind of, even coming on the show, has thrown your family for a little bit of a loop, right? Because now everybody knows.
We're private people, so we don't
Sure.
believe in the sensation of television.
But I would hope that they would understand that it's not the sensation. This is an opportunity to change.
Well, that's how I feel.
Without a doubt. I hope that they give you credit for this. I'm going to take a little break, and, you know, when we come back, you have been going through a process right now. Why don't you explain this to everyone?
I've been going through a real painful laser treatment process to get the tattoos removed. I'm starting with the swastikas on the tops of my hands.
And those go, and then you're going to work your whole body till you get rid of them.
I want every hate tattoo that's on my body off.
And I'm going to tell you, I come back to what I said earlier. It's one thing to go through the public stigma of having as much hate in your heart. It's one thing to have to live with yourself to what he's had to do. But for anyone who's ever had a tattoo, and I have a lot of them, they hurt going on, but they are absolutely excruciating coming off. No ifs, ands, or buts. So for him to want to put himself through this for yourself, but to me, I'm sorry, I think it's proven a point. It's proven a point to the world that just as easily as you erased it from in here, we can erase the signs of hatred from our society. We just have to work on it. All right, take a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at his first steps at erasing his tattoo. We'll be back right after this.
I've gotten rid of the hatred inside. I want to get rid of the hatred outside. And removing the tattoos that resemble all that is my ultimate goal. The day that I wake up and I don't see any swastikas or anything that's a part of my past, is going to be great.
People trying to get to a place of safety.
Although Steve is a former white supremacist, he has changed on the inside. And it's more important to him to see some changes on the outside and get rid of those symbols of racism and hatred from his body. So we went along with him on his journey. Excuse me. Take a look at this.
Today I'm getting 2 tattoos lasered off my hands, and I'm getting rid of the past to start a new life. I've gotten rid of the hatred inside. I want to get rid of the hatred outside. And removing the tattoos that resemble all that is my ultimate goal. Right now, Leanne's putting lidocaine on my hand.
Numb my finger.
And it's supposed to numb my hand.
I'm so happy that he's getting the tattoos removed. I think that part of his life is over with, and he's moving on from all of it.
Well, here we go.
It's a whole new beginning, sweetie.
Yep. A new beginning.
Ready, Freddie?
I'm ready.
Good. Okay.
For you, I think this is kind of like a life-altering change that you're making. And for me, you know, actually being Jewish, removing this particular symbol is pretty significant. Hatred is not a very productive feeling.
The day that I wake up and I don't see any swastikas or anything that's a part of my past is going to be great.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I'm happy that it's being done. I'm really grateful.
How many more of those procedures are you going to have to go through? It's probably like 60 or something, right?
I've probably got, yeah, at least 50, 60 more treatments. And it hurts. It's painful. You were right. It definitely is a lot more painful getting them off than getting them.
Stand up for a second. Now, what do you think?
Just seeing all those tattoos, just even the visual images, really just pains me to the point where my stomach just kind of creeps up to my throat. But I think it's really commendable what you're doing, because I know that doing this process must also make the former people you were involved with very angry. And I'm curious to hear what triggered you to actually want to reform yourself.
Absolutely.
Well, I stopped doing drugs, first of all. That was a major part of it. But I remember I got out of prison and I watched the History Channel. And I believed in the rights of kids. One of the things that we do in prison is a child molester that comes in or a rapist, they're one of our major victims. So I was, in one hand, standing up for children, but yet I had tattoos of somebody that killed millions of kids on my legs, so I felt like a hypocrite. And seeing that program played a major part.
And did not the Brotherhood turn against one of their own also?
Yeah, they killed my friend. They wanted me to kill him, and they killed a friend of mine for dating a Mexican girl.
And right now today, I would bet you probably, if they had a wanted poster, you'd be one of the people on the top list for the Aryan Nation, wouldn't you? Convert, going out with a Jewish woman, actually doing it in public, my God. It's like, there could be no more of an egregious offense, could there be?
No, I'm sure there's probably a few guys sitting in the cell right now pretty upset.
Just like what I showed you at the beginning in that tape. You can go up on the internet right now, but so can all these high school students that are sitting in this room. Some of them may have already been up on the internet on one of these websites that spew nothing but hate. You can get records now that spew nothing but hate, books that spew nothing but hate. And everybody says and talks a mean game about how much they want to stop racism in America, but there aren't enough people stepping up to the plate and exercising the energy they need to do the right thing. What do you say to young people out there today who are really the reason why all this is continuing?
I know that peer pressure is tough. I mean, I was a victim of it. And being honest to yourself, believing in what you believe and not what everybody around you believes in, loving somebody and treating people the way that you want them to love you and to treat you is the basis of all of it. You know, the hatred, like there was a movie out, American History X, and at the end they say hatred is excess baggage, and there's no better way to put it than that.
Take a break. We'll be back right after this. They painted all over the walls what?
You dirty, you black, you little dirty, and all kind of SWAT-y signs.
SWAT stickers. They busted out every window in the house.
Every window.
Stole things. Yes. Your brand new home.